Hello everyone, good afternoon, happy Friday. How is everyone today? It is Fun Floral Friday. Floral Fun Friday, one of those things, and welcome. So it's going to be a fun segment, and I know it's been a fun day, so I hope you guys have all been watching all of the cool crafters and creators with all of the cool floral based projects. So welcome, say hello when you pop in. I'm going to get started here. I am Cheryl from Tinker's Cart, in case you don't know. Hi Cheryl, another Cheryl. And I am an acrylic painter, and I love coming on here and painting with you guys. Hi Constance. You know, maybe you're a crafter and not so much a painter, but I'm here to help you and get you started with painting. So in the theme of floral, I happened to pick up some clay flower pots yesterday at Home Depot. Hi Tracy, hello. Hi Gil. And so I thought that would be my tie into floral. So it's just a regular clay pot that I primed. I'll show you what I use and how I did that. Hi everyone. Hey Kathy. Hey Susan. So good to see you all here. Say hello and let me know where you're watching from and all those good things. So anyway, a friend sent me some cool pictures. Bev sent me some pictures of some painted flower pots. So it got me thinking. And I picked up the flower pots yesterday. And I do love Frida, so I'm going to paint. I just did a little sketch. I'm going to do a Frida flower pot because I think of flowers when I think of Frida with the flowers in her hair and all that. Cindy, hello. Hey, Charlotte. So that's what I think I'm going to do. What I did is I bought just a simple clay pot, the little saucers, but I did prime them first. So you can use any kind of primer. It doesn't have to be this. I happen to have it. It's just a Rust-Oleum primer. I use the white because then my colors will be brighter on top. If I'm painting any kind of a tin piece or resin or something, I always do a little primer first. I did the inside of the pot because what I was just reading is treat the inside and the outside. That way the moisture will stay in the pot and it won't bleed through onto the backside of your painting. So you could very well cover the front with the sealer, but then the moisture could come through from the backside. So I did inside out. When I'm done painting, I'll probably use a polycryl, any kind of a sealer you might have. I just use Minwax polycryl. I just happen to like it. It's water-based, super easy. And then I'm just going to use my craft acrylic paints and just a few ordinary brushes. So to get started with doing something like this is pretty simple. Like I said, I just sketched on a little quick design. I've painted Frida mermaids and things before. So I want to just paint the background, and then we will get to painting Frida herself. So hey, it's so good to see so many people here on a Friday. I think of bright colors when I think of flowers and when I think of Frida. So I'm going to do a yellow background. And because yellow is so transparent, I can see my drawing right through to start. So that's going to help me like know where my drawing is. So I'm just going to quickly do a little background here. Now our segments are 45 minutes here, so I'm going to work a little quickly. I will try to answer your questions as I go, but if I do not see your question, please, I'll come back afterwards and take a look. I may not go all the way around the back. I can do that later. So I'm just going around my little sketch of Frida here. I kind of wish I moved her up a bit because her chin's going to be kind of sitting down low. But I'm going to show you what I'm going to do for a neck on her. So there, I've got some yellow for the background. I'll just wrap it around about halfway. And just know that I'm going to go back and finish it later. So Janice and Sandy, you guys are great. Thanks for popping in on Friday. What's everybody got going for the weekend? It's going to be, I'm in Florida now. I always came from Massachusetts and Maine, but I am in Florida now for the winter. And I guess even though it's spring, New England's getting hit with winter pretty hard right now again. So, hi Aunt Nancy, thank you for popping in. How are you? It's so nice to see friendly faces and family here. I love it. Okay, so I am going to use 2 saucers. I bought 2 extra saucers because what I'm thinking is I'm going to put her neck on this little one and then maybe the top of her dress here. When they're all done, I'm going to just glue them together. And I'm probably going to use like a super glue or an E7000 rather than the glue gun because I want it to really stay and adhere it well. So again, I'm just painting around my design. So I'm going to put her neck there so it doesn't look like she has no neck and goes right to her shoulders, so I bought a little extra little saucer. I couldn't believe the price of the saucers. Like, I thought something was wrong. The little pot was like $2.97, and the little saucers were like $4 and $5. I didn't understand that. But hi, Susie. Hey, Barb. Oh, Janice from Alabama. Say hello to Charlotte. Charlotte is here, and she is from Alabama too. I love to know where you're watching from. It's just kind of cool for me to know. I love when you say hello and even just throw a comment up there, because it just feels more like we're all just painting and hanging out together, which is what I love to do. So I'll even I've had Craft Around the Clock today all day on with all the floral projects, just to kind of listen. I love, just feels like you're like it with your friends, even if you're not, even if it's not a craft or something that you want to do, or you will just certainly learn new things and want to do them. But I just like hanging out with the group. It's really a cool group. If you are from my if you are from my Tinker's Cart Arts group and you're not familiar with Craft Around the Clock, please check out the link is in the description. And if you want to be a part of a wonderful creative family, you have found it. So anyways, welcome. Okay, so I'm going to jump in and just start painting her. And I've got those little things base coated. The yellow is covering really nicely because I have a white underpainting. Generally, yellow can sometimes be a little finicky and transparent, but it's covering nicely on that background. So I'm just going to paint her face on. Can you see me okay? Let me bring you up on my computer too so I can see what you're seeing and make sure. I know it's a weird angle. I was playing with the camera angle so that hopefully you could see what I'm doing here. And I'll try to hold it up as much as I can so that you can really see. So I'm just going to put some flesh color in for her face. Like I said, I can sort of see through the paint from my sketch. And again, I've painted her a bunch of times. She's pretty easy. You put the dark brown eyes and the dark black brown hair, and those eyebrows are a telltale sign that you've got Frida there, especially when you add some flowers in her hair. So pretty easy. Hello, Jackie from Western Pennsylvania. Hi, Linda. Thank you, guys. So good to see you all. And I've not done this before. This is new to me. I usually jump on with you guys without really thinking too much about what I'm going to do. Before I hop on, I kind of grab some project I have around. I'm mostly I'm an acrylic painter, but I do a lot of canvases and more fine art and plein air work, but I love crafting and that sort of thing too. So this gives me a great outlet here at Craft Around the Clock to do all of the fun craft things. And I'm just giving her face just a quick coat. You can probably see. I'm probably going to have some lines showing still. I'm not going to worry about that. I can go back later and fool around with them, cover them up. But I just want to get the gist of it done for you guys. So it's a very simple face. I know people freak out about faces and portraits and things, and this is going to be very simple. You don't need a lot to make something look like a person. You don't have to get all bogged down with everything. I'm going to have just a little, the bright red lips, a very simple nose, and then the big eyes, and that's about all we're going to need. So there she has covered with the flesh color. And now I'm going to put that little neck on. That's going to be this little skinny neck on this saucer. So use your imagination, look up some reference pictures and fun things, and if you pick up some of these clay pots, you can do so many cute things with them and have really a nice little addition to your garden. Now it's, you know, spring and we're going to start planting things, and wouldn't it be fun to have like a nice arrangements of pots? These could be indoors, these could be outside. You treat them with a sealer. Yeah, so it'll be fun. So I'm just putting a little neck on here. Very simple. I'll do a little shading and highlighting after, but I don't need a lot. And let me put her hair on now, just to kind of start bringing her alive. Put her eyes on. I'm going to use just a very dark brown for her hair. A lot of it's going to be covered with some flowers. I'll add a little black that is not covering great. And so I'm going to do a little bit upside down so that you can sort of see as I go. And if you have any questions, like I say, throw them out there. I'll try to answer as we go, but I will get back to them later. Hey, Dorothy and Jackie, I see again. And Janice, I know I saw some of you when you came on, but I got you on my computer now too. Just using really simple flat brush. It's acrylic. It's a Royal Langnickel. I love these brushes. I love a flat because I can get a nice thin line if I want to, or a heavy line. Not expensive, just take care of them and they'll last you for a good long time. And I want to make it easy. If you're not painted yet, but you have a little inkling and you might want to, I would like to help you with that and make it easy for you to get started, because you don't need a lot of expensive supplies and things. You can do it pretty easily. All right, so I'm going to kind of place her ears a little better in a minute, because I want to get the hair wrapped on her head, and then the ears kind of pop up a little bit. Let's see. Let's do this. Let's do that and this. Now, if I wasn't doing this in 45 minutes, I'd go a little slower, a little more careful, but you're going to get the idea pretty easily. So we've got a Frida face, kind of, and some hair there. Susie, I know I do the same thing. I'm like, oh, I'm not a portrait painter. People are so scary. But think of them as anything else. Shapes, shadows, some highlights. Put an eyes and a little cute mouth on there, and it's going to be a person. So this is more whimsical. It's not serious. It's not, it's not like I'm trying to paint a realistic portrait. But I do want to fix her ears, because I don't want her to look like an alien after all. You'll see me add little bits of water sometimes to my paint. The acrylic paint dries pretty quick, and even as we're just here painting, I can feel the paint drying. Alrighty, let me touch up her hair now that I've given her proper ears. There we are. So any plans for the weekend? It's Friday. I'm having a fun weekend this weekend. I'm going to go do some plein air painting for Saturday and Sunday over in Tarpon Springs on the sponge dock. So a group of plein air painters from my area are going out for the weekend, and I can't wait. I wasn't really originally able to go, but plans have changed and I'm excited now to go. So I'll be outdoors painting Saturday and Sunday. Hey Kit, nice to see you. Thanks for popping in. We are painting a Frida here. A little bit more of the flesh color to cover up a little bit. I've gone with a little lighter shade, and sometimes that's all you need for a little highlight. I'm going to give her some little round pink cheeks because she is whimsical. It's not like serious. I want to have a little bit of a cheek there. So let me shade around her nose first of all. I'm going to do that just by dipping my brush into water. I'm going to pat it off a little bit, and I'm just going to side load a little shadow. Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate that. I'm going to go with more of a burnt sienna, which is that kind of a red-brown for the shading. What makes your object, whether it's whimsical or serious or realistic, is giving some shading and giving some highlights to your object, and it makes it appear more 3D than just two-dimensional, which it is flat. So that's just a little way to make things just look a little bit more realistic. And again, this is whimsical. I'm not trying for a really realistic. I'm going just down the sides of her nose with a little bit of a shadow there. I might go to a little more of a honey brown too than that really red brown, but let's see. I want to shade right up and kind of where her eyebrows are going to go. That gives me an indication where they will be. And then she's looking like those people from Pompeii when I see the art from Pompeii, actually. Yes, Susie, I love painting. I have a class I did with my membership of a Frida mermaid, which I wish I had the sample. I don't, but you might see that on my page if you go ahead and take a look. I love painting Frida. So I know it's a little wonky looking, but I'm just getting an idea. The bottom of her little lips would have a little shadow under them, which I could do after, but if I put a little shadow there now, I know where my lips are going to go. And she'll have a little shadow here. Maybe a little shadow around her eyes. I do it on her ear a little bit. From the side of her face, we'll have a little shadow. Not much. And I'm just going to do a little second coat of flesh, because on the top of her ear here, I just have some of the brown for the hair showing through. And I'm going to get a little bit lighter shade. So I did some shading. I want a little bit of a highlight. So I'm going to get white, which I didn't even get white paint out yet. A little white paint. And I'm just going to make a little bit lighter flesh shade by just mixing some white with that. And I'm going to, this is upside down, so she might look a little wonky, but I'd like to get a little bit lighter on the tip of her nose. A little bit lighter just on the nostrils. I know it's tiny little touches, but it just kind of helps. Just kind of makes her come alive a little bit. I'm going very light, so I'd rather go light and have it not show than say, oh, I can add a little more white to that. And shadows as I need them. A little shadow in this little bit of your under your lip there. I'm using tiny bits of color. I have a brush loaded with the flesh color, and for the highlights and the shadows, I'm just taking a little dark or a little light on that dirty brush, so it's not a big, heavy line or bit of color. So I really just lightened up her nose a little bit, and then, you know, you can just lighten up the ear a little bit. Sometimes the forehead. It doesn't matter. She's going to be so simple. Hi, Diana. Nice to see you. Hope you're doing well. A little bit of pink on her cheek. I want it to be very subtle. I'm not going to go bright pink, but if I use the color that I used for her flesh and just add a little red to it, it will just be a little pink. And again, I go light. I go very similar shade, and then if I don't see it, I'll go a little darker. I'd rather work that way instead of going on with the big bright red cheeks, and she'll look like, remember, what is it, someone with the bright red cheeks, or a clown or something. You want to have it look a little subtle. So I'm just going to do 2 circles, and that's too light. So I'll just go a little bit more red into my flesh color. And I just like the look. We've got to do her eyes next because she looks like a zombie. So I noticed this cheek is a little bit too close to the eye. So I'm going to move that eye up maybe a little bit. We'll see. We need eyes, though. When I'm painting people or animals or anything, I like to do the features pretty soon in the painting so that they give them a little character and they have a little bit of look to them. Cataracts, one more surgery. Oh, Diana, I wear sunglasses because I have to. They distort everything to me. I know it's hard, but good luck with the next one, and I hope you're out and painting really soon. So I'm going to just make a little bit more flesh here and probably have to move up that a little bit. Let me put the whites of the eye in. That will place them for me. Oh, Kimmery, I'm so sorry you're feeling under the weather. I hope you're feeling better. It was great for me because I just didn't grab a spot this week. It just got away from me. So this worked out perfectly, but I hate that you're not feeling well. So I hope you feel better really, really soon. And check out Kimmery's page, Be So Creative. All of the crafters here, I'd love it if you could give them a follow and check out what they do. We have such a talented group of people here. Okay, whites of the eyes. So I am just going to give her bigger eyes than she would have if it was a real portrait. And I'm placing them just by painting in these almond-shaped white patches. I will put an iris and a pupil in there afterwards. For her, we have to do some eyelashes, of course, and some nice bright red lips. Her face is looking a little squattier than I usually do it because I'm jamming her on a flower pot, I think. But anyway, once she has the little earrings and flowers in her hair, it's going to be pretty recognizable. I almost thought if I had like fake pearls or a necklace or something, I could almost glue them onto the bottom of the pot after, but we'll see. We'll see what happens when we get there. And as I go, I just sort of adjust things as I see them. I see I want a little bit more of a highlight on her nose there. Blend that a little more. I sometimes get bogged down with the details. Let's give her some lips. That will help, I think. Nice bright red lipstick for this one. I'm not really watching the time, but I will. We started at 3:15. That means I have till 4 o'clock. So good, we have plenty of time. Nice lips here. I'm painting the lips on something like this. I usually do just the top lip first, just a little lip shape. If it's really a tiny little drawing, you can almost do like a little heart shape for their lips. It's kind of like the little bow on top here, and top lip is always lighter, so I'm going to add a little white to this now, and then for the bottom lip I'm going to make it a little darker, and so that's, let's see, let's do that, make it a little lighter at the top, and now I'm going to rinse my brush and get a nice dark red, like a maroon almost, for the bottom lip. Got some alizarin crimson there, I'll grab that. To see my palette a little bit, right? Okay, good. I like for you to see my palette and how I grab my paint sometimes. Oh, Renee, I'm sorry. There's been some real issues with Facebook, not just today, but off and on. But today it has been difficult. But remember, it's always recorded. You'll always find it on Craft Around the Clock, and you'll always find it on my page as well. So don't ever worry that you missed something. You can catch it later, and if you ever have a question on where it is and you can't find it, please just reach out and I'll guide you there. All right, now I have to kind of do it this way so I can kind of see what I'm doing upside down here. Okay, it's kind of lip-like looking. And a little shine usually is a nice touch too. I want to bring the sides of her mouth up a little bit just to give her like a little bit of a smile or a little bit of a smirk, kind of, just so sometimes they tend to look a little frowny. So I sort of bring up the edges a little bit, and that kind of makes a little difference. Rinse my brush. I'm going to just get a little white, and I'm just going to get a little highlight with the white, a little bit of pink in there. And I'm going to just give the bottom lip a little highlight, just a little highlight. Maybe on the top lip too a little bit. Let's see. Oh, that looks good. I don't want it to be that bold. I want to still keep the red of her lipstick, so I'm going to go back and get a little bit. Actually, I'm going to highlight with the red rather than that white. Okay. Now, another coat of white on her eyes. Her eyes and her features are really what are going to be the thing that we want to spend the most time on. I see Nancy came on. Hey, Nance, how are you? I know you guys are getting lots of snow back in Clinton, and also I see people talking about a little bit of that earthquake, something about an earthquake that was in New Jersey. I think you guys felt it. Did you feel something, Nance? I know a friend that lives in Rhode Island said she felt it. But then I saw a couple of people on the Clinton Facebook pages talking about it. So it can't just snow, it has to throw in a little bit of an earthquake as well. It's crazy. Okay, so see, we've got a nice coverage on the white to her eyes. While I'm here, I think I'll touch up that ear again. Maybe a little bit more of a highlight, just on just a little highlight on her nose. And you know, I do like to sometimes highlight the cheeks. So if I get a super light pink, I could put just maybe like a little half moon kind of her cheeks. I don't want to make her look too cartoony, but you know, I don't know if I love it. It might be a little bubblegum looking, but we'll see. You'll have to let me know what you think. Okay, now we're going to give her big brown eyes and a black pupil, and then what makes it is a little bit of eyeliner and a little highlight in those eyes. I'm going to go a little bit lighter on the brown. They're very dark and black, but I want them to be able to still get a pupil in there. And I'm going to thin my paint because I'm doing something a little bit more detailed, and I want the paint to flow nicely for me. So let's just give her some eyeballs. I'll probably need 2 coats. I'm painting over white there, so you can see the white through a little bit. That's okay. It's acrylic paint. It dries super fast. Just a little patience. I could almost use a smaller brush than this, but let's just do this. For those of you that don't know, I do have many online classes. You can buy individual classes on my website, or I have a lot of free tutorials on my page and also on YouTube. And I have an art membership if you want to get a little more serious and jump in and be part of that community too. Oh, good, Nance. I don't think it was much up there, but still, it's kind of scary. All right, she's going to get some earrings, but let's wait on that. Now you can see my pencil mark through that yellow paint really heavily, and I could paint yellow over that 1,000 times and it's not going to cover. So just to fix that, I'm just going to paint a little white where I see the pencil marks, and then just go over it with the yellow when that dries, just to clean up around her a little bit. So I'm just going to do that for the time being. It's a little trick for covering up marks that you need to go over with a lighter color. Another coat of brown on her eyes. Let me know what you think about the cheeks. I don't know if I like that tiny, very subtle highlight, because I think of it as a piece of bubble gum. So we can just paint right over that if we decide. Okay, so let's get the eyes darker, because her eyes are dark. A little black even. With that brown. Yeah, that's more like it. I'll do black pupils, but then I'm going to put a little, like a half moon of a lighter burnt sienna, more maybe an orangier, just to highlight those dark eyes. Don't want them to look like black holes. I want them to be a little highlighted. Hey, Deb. Oh, Deb from Splash of Paint, Deborah. I would love it if you gave her a follow. She's right there. She's so talented and has so many cool projects here on Craft Around the Clock as well. And I'm going to do a quick little second coat on her neck, which I kind of forgot about over here, just to get it covered, so when we're ready to put this together. And like I said, this is going to be her neck, but maybe cool to have like a little strand of pearls or a cool necklace and glue that on there. We'll see. Let's see what we're going to do. Okay, eyes. We want to finish up her eyes. I'm going to thin down some black paint for that a big black pupil in her eye. I'm going to put it a little closer to the top, not like dead center. So I'm going to go a little bit closer to the top. Hard to see even for me here, but it's there. And then when I put that little highlight on the eyeball, you will see it a little more. I'm going to get a very thin brush now and just do like her eyeliner. A few little eyelashes. I'm not going to go crazy with eyelashes because you don't want them to look like, I don't know, eyelashes are tricky. You don't want to do them too much because then it looks kind of fake. Not fake, but you know, like the little cartoony drawings. So I like to just outline the top. So like a little bit on the top. I'm not going to do the bottom. I'm just going to do the top. And I'm just going to maybe do a little bit of, just a little, like a few little eyelashes here at the end. That is probably enough. I'm trying to hold it here because I know you see it better, but then I can't see it because I need to have a tiny bit of distance. So let me just get that. And now the fun part, those eyebrows. So it's the whole unibrow thing, you know, but I don't want to make them like Groucho Marx-ish. Hey there, hey Stacy. So let me just kind of with light strokes kind of place them. So I'm just kind of placing them. Let's see. Not bad for upside down. I see that this little bit has to need a little more brown on this eye here because it's kind of there's a little white spot there. I don't want that there. Okay, let's just fix that because it'll bug me. Okay. Oh, no, a little more eyebrow because she needs a little bit of the unibrow, I know. Because it's just a trademark kind of thing. So I'm going to go super light for that. Let's see. I'm just going to go in a little more super light, and then I'm going to get darker where the actual eyebrows. And I'm just using a liner brush, which is a long-haired brush, very thin. But because it's so long and it's a liner, if you load it up with a paint that's thinned down, you get some nice thin strokes. It's a nice way to get some thin lines. I'm kind of excited the way she's turning out because, to be honest, I really did not, I don't plan well, and I just figure it is what it is when we're on, and usually things turn out, and if it doesn't, it's a little lesson that we've learned and we'll figure something else out. 2 little bits for nostrils, just seriously, just a little, do just a little something there. But I do have to lighten up, even though she's got those dark eyes. I need to get in there with a little orange, maybe burnt sienna, which is a dark, which is a red brown. I don't want it to be too light. I just need a little something to break up that whole big eye there. So let me just try this, and we'll see if it works. It's just like a little half moon, and it's probably too light for her eyes, but let's just see. I'm going to get the pupils pretty dark again. That still needs to be a little darker there. And when I let that dry, because I want to get a nice white highlight, so you have to let it dry a little bit. Let's see, I've got some referencey photos here. All right. Another quick little swipe of white where we're trying to cover up my pencil lines, that's all. I'm going to spread it out so it doesn't get any lumps and bumps, and when I put the yellow over it, you won't even know I did that. Alrighty, little, as I go, I'm kind of just looking at every bit of everything, and if there's something needs to be touched up, I notice the cheek here I know it was close to the eye, but I have to round it out a little bit. I'll just use the flesh color and just round it out a bit. From a distance, and you probably don't even see it. I know I tell you, try not to get too worked up about little things, because you're looking at everything so close. I try to do that myself, but sometimes I just have little things I do want to sort of correct as I'm going. Okay, now I'm going to just touch up the white of her eyes in a few places. Is a pretty, I see the background through it. I'll just do that. And then when I said a little highlight, it could just be a dot, it could be just a little half comma maybe. Let's just try a little, maybe just like a little slash almost. Can you see the difference now when you just put the little highlights on the eyes? And you can see I do wish she had a longer, narrower face, like more true to her, but she's on a flower pot, so I can't fuss about it too much, I guess. Okay, I can see my pencil mark a little bit through her face there, so I'm just gonna touch that up. And then we will start giving some flowers in her hair and give her some jewelry. So that's what we think of when we think of Frida. And I'm just covering up a few of my little lines I can see, which is not a big deal. Just what that pen I grabbed to sketch was the only one I had here, and it was a nice fine mechanical pencil, which I like because it doesn't smudge, but it's purple, so it is a little darker than I'd like. Okay, I put a little shadow under her lip, and I did it because it placed where her lip would go, but I didn't exactly put her lip right there. So let's just give a little shadow under that bottom lip again. Let's just give that a little shadow. Okay, her hair's a little streaky, but let's put flowers in it, then we can fix it. Oh, I gotta fix her ear. Her hair over her ear, because look, it looks a little like Spock, so let's just do that. She does have a little bit of a, I'm not gonna say a sideburn, but you know what I mean. I think the hair could come down a little bit more here to be more Frida-like. And as much as we need to, I think I wanna just give her eyebrows just a little bit more weight to them in a few places. So more here, and then have them get thin here. What do you think? Is it Frida-like? Look at the flowers in her hair. I didn't like that little thing right there. Okay, so just going to do some quick little rosy and different color flowers just in her hair. I'm not going to paint real meticulous little perfect flowers and petals and all that. We have 10 minutes, so let's throw some flowers on there. I'm going to get that yellow back on her the flower pot first. because I want to give you the whole look once we paint her little dress. Just the top, like you'll just see the shoulders of her dress. Which actually, let me paint that now because we can do flowers around there while we're doing flowers. How about that? Now, the background could stay plain yellow. You could put little dots on it or polka dots or flowers there too if you wished. So this is going to be her little neck. So we do need just a little shadow on that. It'll be like under her chin. So let's get a little bit, oh, right here. It's just going to be like a little shadow here. I don't know how that will sit on there, but let's see. And a little lighter here. And actually, we see her a little bit of skin tone here as well. So let's do that, and then we can put her all together with just some floral bits. And let me just match it up and make sure the shade is correct. So that's going to go on here. So let's just get that all the same shade. There, and we've got a little shadow, so hopefully that will work. I'm going to get a little bit of like a black dress, polka dots maybe, or something that would be typical. And then we're going to do some flowers. And look at this, all like almost in 45 minutes. So, I don't want to hear that you don't have time to paint or craft, because you can. And I know I'm doing it quick, and it does take me, it would take me longer ordinarily, and same with you guys. But you can get a start on a project, or do a sketch, or just get your project prepped, and it's easier to sit down once you do that, I think, just to get started. All right, so all we're going to see is the shoulders of this little dress. So let's just do that. Leave that little V. Well, I'm so glad I got a spot today to see you guys because I was missing you. I've had my auntie came to visit, and I had my niece, and it's been kind of a busy few weeks. So I'm glad to get back to my schedule. And I'm glad that you're here too. Thank you, Carol. All right, let's just try to, it's very bumpy on these little plates, but let's just try to get her shoulders here. And let's see now if I can get them even. This one turned out a bit more like a football player, but we'll just stop here, and I'll just fill in, when that black dries, I'll fill in the yellow. So that's a start. We're going to just put some flowers here and there. Okay, flowers on her hair. I'm going to go with like roses, red colors, maybe some white, kind of match her dress there. A really quick way to make some almost not really quite one-stroke roses, but really quick ones. Oh, thanks, Carol. Oh, Gail, thank you guys. I love it. Thank you for being here. I'd love it if you gave my page a follow. I also have a link to my private art community, the free community, in the description. But again, if you're interested at all painting with me every month, we paint live together, and I do some recordings for you. I would love to give you more info. Just send me a message or something. So we have a few new members from here, which is great. Okay, so I'm going to start with just a dark red. I usually start dark and go light when I'm painting. And I think I have to kind of turn her towards me to do this. I need a bigger brush. I'm using that tiny brush. I don't know why. That's a good one. Just a round brush again, but it's just a little bigger. You have your favorite brushes. I have all these brushes, and then I have the few that I like to paint with. Okay, so they're just going to end up kind of pink, but we need to start a little darker. And I'm just kind of blobbing on some of that dark paint in kind of a sort of a circle shape, but kind of bumpy. I don't want it to be perfect. I'll put 3 big flowers there, and then we will just get some little ones around it, maybe throw some leaves coming off. Although I realize now that I need to go a little bit higher because I stopped her head kind of abruptly, and I want to put a little bit of flowers back there. Let me get some more dark flowers back there so that the light ones in the front will pop. And I can always touch up with yellow or throw some leaves in there. So I've just basically put on a bunch of little blobs, hard to see on the brown. And I've got that dark color, so I'm gonna go lighter now. And maybe lighter again still, so I don't wanna jump really too bright right now. I'm just making up more of a pink. And I'm really just going to kind of just make like almost a little dabs of circles around the middle so that it's almost like petals. Now, the underpainting with the dark red is wet, and that's what I want. So when I go with my lighter color, it pulls that dark in as well. And I'll just keep wiping off my brush and getting it a little lighter as I go to just get it a little brighter. So you can see that's a little wet underneath. It'll pull up some. I'm just almost mark making. So there's like the second step. Just some little spiral almost, kind of a shape. Now more dry off my brush. I'm not washing it. I'm just using a dirty brush, but with more white on it. And I do start kind of in the middle, and I sort of just place little strokes, which could almost be like petals of a rose, for instance. And it's all kind of mixing with the color behind it, because I don't want it to be a bright white, really. I want it to have some tones of pink and still some darks. I can throw some little yellow centers in there maybe, just to add some color. When I do something like that, like touching up the pot, I need to add a little white in the center so that my yellow pops, which I will do. So I'm just gonna kind of pretending there's three big flowers, peony, roses, something like that. And then these little ones are just sort of bits peeking out. I'll go in one more time with a very light pink, just for those few petals that are closest to us to pop. But I think I do want to put a little yellow in the middle, match kind of tying with the yellow we have. So I'm just going to dab in a little yellow, because if I tried to dab yellow in the middle there, you wouldn't ever see it, because it just would never cover. So that's enough there. So when that dries, I can put just a few dots of yellow in the middle. Let's get some, while this is drying. Oh, we only have like 3 minutes left, you guys. So you kind of got an idea there of my flowers. I'm going to really finish her up a little better. But quickly for her dress, I want to do polka dots. I'm simply going to take the back end of my brush, polka dot that up. You could use anything round, the end of a brush, a pencil, a toothpick. I just want a polka dot dress, so that's going to be that. I am going to glue these together. Let's see what she looks like. I haven't seen it yet, but let's see. Let me line her up on Cassie. Oh, she's got very skinny neck. Oops. I gotta do it. I can't do it by looking at the camera. I might have to make her little skinny neck a little wider. Let's see. Or maybe she's just kind of funny like that. So there she is so far. What I'm going to do for those little bits that are showing up here is some leaves, which you can do so simply, even in 2 minutes. So I'm going to get a dark green, mix it up to be like a kind of a leaf shape, and maybe some white on the end. And I just want to put some leaves coming out. I'm going to touch up the little bits of yellow that are peeking through, because I don't want to put that heavy a bit of leaves on there. But that's okay, I can do that. I can do them coming up from here maybe, so it's almost like a few little leaves are interspersed in with those flowers. And you guys don't forget to hang out and watch the next crafter. You might have to just refresh the page in a minute once I'm done. But can you see I'm putting some little leaves here and there, and if there's something on her that you don't like, you can certainly just add some little leaves there. But just to break up the flowers, I can put some little leaves. I would probably pop in a few bits of yellow in the middle of those flowers, just kind of dotted in. But to make them pop, I'm going to go just a tiny bit lighter pink. And then that's it, really. I'll finish her up and post her. But I'm going to just go a little bit lighter. And I'm ready to sign off, but I'm going to just try to get these few petals on there. See how simple those flowers are? Easy peasy. What do you think, you guys? pretty much done, right? I think I'm going to bring her hairline down a tiny bit. It's kind of lost on this side here. But now I'll just step back and look at it and see what it needs. I like the idea of stacking them up though, and getting kind of a cool plant that could almost be like carrying off the leaves. So I'm going to run. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you so much for painting with me. Bye now.